So Tarver's in the ring and set for tonight's fight. Let's go to the numbers as we check out the tail of the tape from Foxwoods. Tarver turned 39 last month. Santiago 5 years younger, but a 5-inch height advantage for Tarver. Trainer Pat Burns, who you alluded to, Al, wouldn't allow us to measure Santiago's reach, feeling it would give something away. And at yesterday's weigh-in, Tarver 175. Santiago, who has had weight issues in the past, looked in good shape at 174. And a look at the key unified rules. There's no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt causes a fight to end within 4 rounds, it's a no decision. After 4 rounds, they go to the scorecards. And if a punch causes a cut and the injured fighter can't continue, he loses by TKO. So here at Foxwoods Resort Casino in Mashantucket, Connecticut, we're getting ready for Antonio Tarver versus Danny Santiago. Let's get the official introductions from a ring announcer, the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Foxwoods Resort and Casino here in Mashantucket, Connecticut for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Gary Shaw Productions in association with Foxwoods and Showtime. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the International Boxing Organization, the President Ed Levine, Supervisor Frank Brunette, along with the Mashantucket Pequot Athletic Commission. The chairman is Richard Butler, Executive Director Joe Letellier, and the commissioner is Peter Timothy. Our physicians at ringside, Dr. Michael Schwartz, Dr. Kevin McGuire, and Dr. Tony Alessi. Timekeepers at the bell, also keeping count of the knockdowns, Phyllis Roy and Roland Roy. Introducing our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside. From Avon, Connecticut, Glenn Feldman. From Boca Raton, Florida, Mark Streisand. And from Coral Springs, Florida, Peter Trematera. At this time, we introduce to you our 3rd man in the ring, our referee in charge of this bout, Steve Smoger. All right, fans, here we go with our main event of the evening, 12 rounds of boxing for the IBO Light Heavyweight Championship. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Foxwoods, it's showtime! Introducing to you first, the challenger on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue trunks with silver trim. He is fighting out of Ocala, Florida, by way of the Bronx in New York. He weighed in at 174 pounds with a record of 29 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. He has 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, he is making his 2nd attempt at the light heavyweight crown. Please welcome a fighter known as the Bronx Bomber, introducing Danny Santiago. And his opponent across the ring, the defending champion on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red trunks with silver trim. He is fighting out of Tampa, Florida, by way of his home of Orlando, Florida. He weighed in at the light heavyweight limit of 175 pounds with a record of 25 wins, 4 losses. He has 18 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBA, WBC, and IBF light heavyweight world champion and the current IBO light heavyweight champion known as the Magic Man, Antonio Tarver. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing scheduled. Steve Smoger is our referee in charge.
Thank you, Jimmy. Gentlemen, this is for the IBO Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. Please obey my commands, respect the bell, and above all, protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves, touch up. God bless.
Well, the question is, will we see a fast, quick, more lively Antonio Tarver as he promised? And will he take this out of the judge's hands? He needs an emphatic victory. But be mindful, he's fighting an unranked, relatively untested Danny Santiago, who's never been in there with a guy like Tarver, even what some consider a faded former champion. Here we go. Tarver, the southpaw in the red, and immediately coming out looking to throw bombs is Santiago. Santiago has a good power right, but is sometimes wide, inviting the counter left. And Tarver's KO punch is the booming left. The punch that crushed Roy Jones in their rematch.
I'm a little surprised Tarver would want to just languish on the inside with him this early in the match, when from the outside the jab and the straight left hand would presumably control the shorter Santiago.
Yeah, to get to Tarver, you got to get inside, rough him up as Hopkins did. Fighting outside versus Tarver is asking for trouble if you're Santiago.
Nice left hand, though, a moment ago by Tarver. And of course, that's the punch Santiago is vulnerable to.
Historically, Tarver a cautious starter.
Danny, stay up, Danny. Stay up, Danny. You all right, Tonio?
At his best, the big, tall southpaw, a skillful, sharp-punching guy who can lead or counter. He hits hard with both hands, precise long left and left uppercut, and uses his right hand very well for a lefty.
Santiago, you see him trying to lunge in and land that overhand right. That's the one punch you want to try and use against Tarver if you can get in position to throw it. Ricky was able to land some, and certainly Bernard Hopkins did in his fight with Tarver. Santiago on the outside now. That's not where he wants to be.
Exactly. Santiago's trainer, Pat Burns, an ex-Marine and former Miami policeman, had Tarver in the amateurs, and he thinks he's very beatable. Some feel Tarver is one-dimensional, jab, straight left, but Al, as you pointed out numerous times, it works.
Well, Pat Burns was the co-coach in the Olympics, along with Al Mitchell, who previously worked with Forrest in 1996, and it was a contentious time for Tarver. He ended up winning the bronze medal, losing to Vasily Girov, and many people feeling like he didn't apply himself enough at those Olympics. He was the top amateur in the world, and it was a surprise that he didn't win the gold medal. And Burns was down there, and I guess he feels from that experience he knows what to do against Antonio Tarver.
Tarver feels that his style is misinterpreted by a lot of people, particularly the judges. He's penalized because of his defensive prowess. Makes people miss. He's tactical to a fault in the eyes of the judges, he thinks. And just because your back is on the ropes, he says, it doesn't mean you're not being effective. He said it doesn't look like he's working hard. So maybe he has to start grunting and making sounds and faces.
Little right hand in there by Santiago at the end of that round. That was a close round.
Now let's get it over to Jim Gray with Chad Dawson.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Chad, a lot of people are wondering when it's going to be you and Chad Dawson getting it on.
Oh, you mean me and Tarver?
Tarver, I'm sorry, you and Antonio Tarver.
I mean, I'm tired of waiting. You know, I'm ready for a big fight. You know what I mean? It was with Tarver, you know, anybody, you know, but Tarver fight is definitely a fight that I want.
Is money the issue here? Did you want too much? Did he want too much? Why couldn't you get together?
I mean, I never got I mean, we never got past the signing contract and nothing like that. So I mean, the money definitely not the issue, man.
Is he afraid of you?
Me, I'm not gonna say. I don't think any fighter is afraid of anybody, but I mean, it's time to step up to the plate, you know.
You'll fight in April. Will that be against Glenn Johnson?
I heard it could be, you know, the rumors, but I mean, Glenn Johnson, Antonio Tarver, doesn't matter. You know, as long as Bad Chad comes in the ring and prepared and does the job.
Chad, thanks for joining us. Steve Albert would like to wear your coat. Is that all right?
Sure, man. If it fits.
He'll make it fit. Nice to see you, Chad. We'll see you in April. Steve?
I'll make a trade the headsets that I'm wearing for that coat. That would keep me a lot warmer outside here in the Foxwoods area.
Thank you, Jim. Negotiator.
Yeah. Well, Chad Dawson from nearby New Haven, the undefeated WBC light heavyweight champ. Is he studying a future opponent tonight, Antonio Tarver? Time will tell.
You know, they had good sparring. Prince Badi Adamu, who fought Roy Jones Jr. and is a pretty good light heavyweight, sparred with Tarver for this fight, and he would be a very good fighter to simulate what Santiago would do.
Feeling from Dawson's camp, Tarver not very eager to get in there with the young southpaw, Mr. Dawson. But if Tarver really wants to show he's the best, Al, pretty good chance it will go through Bad Chad.
Well, I'm sure Tarver wants to challenge for one of the major light heavyweight titles. Good left hand by Tarver. He would presumably have a date with Jeff Lacey if Lacey beats Manfredo in the next fight, and then looked for a shot at a light heavyweight title, maybe against Dawson.
A Tarver-Hopkins rematch not likely, with Joe Calzaghe targeting Hopkins. That could be Hopkins' last fight. All right, round 2, midway.
But right now, Tarver has to dispatch Santiago.
And he's got to do it. Most people think in I can't put it any other way, electrifying fashion to start winning people back. And right now it's kind of a slow start.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, I'm one of those people that thought the Mariki fight showed that he, after a layoff, I thought there was enough sharpness there for me to feel okay about Antonio Tarver. Now, if this is a laboring performance against Santiago, another journeyman kind of light heavyweight, clearly it's not going to bode well for him from a marketing standpoint. But he's controlling already. We see him controlling round 2 here for the most part.
That's it.
But we live in an instant gratification society, which is sometimes not so good, and people want action. I mean, they want knockouts, especially at the higher weight classes. And you know, even though this is a very talented man here in the red trunks, there's no question about it, they want to see fireworks.
Yeah, see, my theory about him is, though, he's been involved in a lot of great fights with Glenn Johnson, and even the Jones fight, and even the last Mariki fight was kind of interesting. So I think it's about him showing a lot of skill and at least creating, as you say, interesting fights.
Give me the Vaseline. Give me the Vaseline on my hand. Right. Okay. Now, T, don't wind down. I want you to get into the rhythm. If you don't jab, look at you got to go right to him. Don't back out. I want you to back him up. The guy is a shot.
Just get him out of here.
Get him out of here, please. Okay. Don't wait. You understand? Okay. I want you to double up and jab. Put the pressure on him, back him up. Come on. You ain't got nobody in front of you. He's ready to go.
So you go right-handed?
No. Stay where you at. Doing good. Okay.
Best condition.
Okay, let's go.
Boxing lifer Jimmy Williams, 80 years young, couldn't have said it more succinctly.
He agrees with you. He wants Tarver to go after him and get Danny Santiago out of there.
Well, let's see if Tarver heeds Jimmy's advice.
You know, Antonio Tarver, you just saw a combination. He fights, I mentioned it before, brilliantly in spurts, and that is part of the issue, I guess. Then he'll have a little period in the round where he doesn't, and then he'll do it again. And it's, you know, for the most part, it's a one-dimensional attack, but it's an attack it's hard for people to stop. He's got the jab, the straight left hand, occasionally mixes in a hook, not very often. There's the left landed.
And then Santiago taking Tarver back.
Danny Santiago, to make it all work here tonight, he's got to do two things. There's the left hook. He's got to throw that hook to the body, double with it to the head if he can, and then try and throw that overhand right and land it with effectiveness.
To me right now, Tarver's looking tentative. I don't see it. I mean, this is, you know, it's not Sugar Ray Robinson in front of him.
Well, nice right hand by Santiago.
In all due respect to Santiago.
Yeah, I understand.
And Tarver is missing wildly.
Yeah, Tarver's accuracy not as good as it was in the last fight, interestingly enough.
Missing again, twice. And those are pity-patty shots. There's not a lot behind it. He's got to straighten those out and put more power into it, more sting. I mean, and he has it, or he had it. I'm not sure.
Stay up, Danny. Stay up, Danny.
Now there's
Santiago.
Good work in the inside by Santiago. That's where he wants to be.
Yep.
As close as he can get to Tarver so he can rip those body shots and then rip the double left hook.
This was a guy who literally jumped for joy when he found out he was going to get this fight with Tarver. He was in the gym but not training for anyone in particular. He had come off a difficult situation, coming in over 30 pounds overweight for season 3 of the TV show The Contender, telling us the problem was due to a medical condition which was discovered and actually, according to him, saved his life. But as Danny put it, one door closes, another opens.
Nice jab by Tarver. He's starting to set down, and I think he hurt Santiago with that left hand.
Tarver starting to come on here a little bit towards the end of round 3, and Santiago's in trouble.
There's the straight left by Tarver. That's his money punch, and Santiago's feeling the power of that punch. There's a good body shot by Tarver.
All Tarver has to do really is come forward and apply himself and let some of those punches go like that. Those fell short, but starting to have a little more effect here on the unheralded Danny Santiago.
Listen, you're not going to get opportunities like this. You had 3 or 4 opportunities here, and you let it go. Yeah, man, right hand and left hook. You slipped beautiful. You had his head here. You didn't bring anything. You're moving your upper body. When you stop moving, you're getting caught. You understand? He caught you with a good left hand because you stopped moving that head. Okay? What do we want here? That little miniature Mike Tyson shit, right? Isn't that what we want? That good upper body movement and punching off that. All right? You let it.
Pat Burns with good advice to Santiago. Santiago working on the inside, trying to work the body, and there's the nice right to the body and right uppercut. Interestingly, they mentioned Mike Tyson. That's a combination Tyson kind of created. Now, later in the round, Tarver with some very good straight left hands. That was a point where he hurt Santiago, certainly made him feel the left-handed, a round in which Tarver won it because he was more aggressive in the last half.
And he has been known to steal a round or two. Antonio Tarver, he'll coast for a while and then pick it up towards the end of the round, just as he did there in round 3. Tarver did stun Santiago a couple of times in the 3rd. But back comes Santiago on the inside, digging to the body, which is what you're supposed to do against Tarver.
Well, they want the movement as he comes in, and they called it the Tyson-like movement.
But at the same time, he's very hittable, and he's also got to be aware of his defense when he comes in like that against Tarver.
Right, and that's why they want the upper body movements. He's dipping down, but the problem is, of course, he's still getting hit by Tarver as he comes in.
That was the reference to the Tyson stuff. In his prime, was so good at that.
Santiago's not applying a lot of pressure to Antonio Tarver, and I think that's one thing. If you're going to try and beat this, light heavyweight icon, and you're going to get in and win that decision, you want to be aggressive.
These punches are just falling short. That one didn't, but that was blocked by Santiago. But again, Tarver fighting in, as you put it, spurts from his last fight.
Landing a fair amount of punches here in this round, even though he's missing a lot. Some of those left hands are getting in.
And Santiago just nailed him with a left hook. And a straight right by Santiago. But there's not a lot of steam behind those punches.
Those rights by Santiago, that's the punch he wants to get in if at all possible. And it's the one you can land against Antonio Tarver.
He loads up with his right like he did just there, and he just telegraphed it to the body. He's got to use his left more, Santiago. He's got to mix it up a little more. And he throws that right hand looping from time to time, and that's where Tarver could really take advantage and fire the countering straight left, which is his big money punch.
Good body work a moment ago. There's Tarver again. He's really committing to the body now, throwing a lot of straight left hands down there.
Under a minute remaining, round 4 scheduled for 12. Santiago game, trying to make it competitive.
There's the overhand right by Santiago. That was the best one he's thrown, I think, in the fight, really.
Santiago has 19 knockouts among his 29 wins, but he's hurt now. He's hurt. And he goes through the ropes. It's a knockdown.
5, 6, 7, 8. How you feel, Danny? How you feel, Danny? Bien? Todo bien? Come on, come on. All right, Tonio.
Santiago hangs tough. Tarver goes right back to work. Body shots being very effective. A barrage of shots. Knockdown number 2. It's over. Steve Smoger calls it off.
No more, no more.
So Antonio Tarver
Okay.
with 2 knockdowns here in round 4. The second one is the end. And Tarver makes pretty short work of Danny Santiago. Again, kind of choppy at times, but he finished it off the way he wanted to finish it off, with a knockout.
Given the fact that 7 of his last 8 have not ended in knockouts for Tarver, certainly wanted to stop it. And we heard Jimmy Williams urge him to get it. So his power showed up here in this round.
So Antonio Tarver beats Danny Santiago, which is exactly what he was supposed to do. A loss would have been unthinkable. He's 39, time running out. He needs the big fights now from this point on.
We'll see Danny Santiago go down for the first time in this round. He would end up going down twice. The uppercut is what really started the problem, and then the straight left hands by Tarver. Tarver does what he does. He throws the jab, he throws the left hand to the body and the head. Keeps winging away and ultimately gets to Danny Santiago and knocks him down. And again, that's the first knockdown.
Yep.
And now the second knockdown. Languishing on the inside, still Tarver throwing lots of punches, and the body punches actually had a lot of impact on Santiago, and throwing hooks and uppercuts, and finally that would be the end for Santiago.
Let me ask you a question. Even though Tarver ended it emphatically here, the Tarver that we saw here tonight, how would he do against Jeff Lacey, Chad Dawson, Glenn Johnson, people of that ilk?
I don't know that he was as sharp with his punches, but we often see him get off to a slow start. And so if you'd asked me that question in round 5 or 6 or 7, I might have a different answer. But at that moment, it was I think an uneven effort to that point.
Okay. And we'll get the official time for our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes 53 seconds in round number 4. Our referee in charge, Steve Smoger, stops the contest. He is the winner by way of technical knockout, and still the IBO light heavyweight champion, the Magic Man, Antonio Tarver.
So Antonio Tarver, now 26-4 with 19 knockouts. Santiago 29-4-1. All 4 of his losses by knockout. Not an overwhelmingly spectacular performance by Tarver. You heard the smattering of boos even after the announcement was made that Tarver won a 4th round technical knockout. And I'm just, Chad Dawson watching this tonight has to be somewhat salivating. Let's get it into the ring to Jim Gray.
Steve, thank you very much. With his wife, Denise, his daughter, Taylor. Antonio, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Antonio, what are your thoughts of the crowd booing?
I don't know. I mean, I really didn't hear the crowd. I don't know. I mean, we came in here, we executed. We did what we were supposed to do, got busy with the jab, the fundamentals of the game, and everything came together, Danny came in here with a chance of a lifetime. He took some hard shots early. But, we knew we had to break him down to the body and get him out of there. So we did just that, and we on to the next stage.
Did you feel at all tentative and slow?
Not at all. Not at all. I felt good. I mean, I'm a patient fighter. Everybody knows that. And like I said, the only thing that matters is the end result. I'm not out here, trying to get outside of myself. I know my game. It's worked for me this long, and we're going to stick to it.
But certainly guys like Santiago and Elver Maricki are not in your class, or at least they weren't in your class. So for this to go anytime and Maricki to go anytime, doesn't demonstrate that really you're the same fighter that you've been in the past. Does that concern you?
Well, we'll determine that when we get some big names to step up and challenge me. That's what it's all about. Then you'll be able to see me, Jim. I mean, hey, I came out here, we worked, and that's it. That was all expected. I knocked the guy out. I mean, we'll see. Can any of the light heavyweights stand up to that power?
Well, when will we see you? When will we see you with Chad Dawson or Johnson or those likes?
That's up to them. I mean, Al Heyman Entertainment, I told him set him up, I'll knock him down. I mean, we ready, and no question about that. If anybody want to dispute who division this is, come see me.
Is money going to be, obviously money's always an issue, but will it be an impediment to putting one of these fights together? Will you ask too much because it creates the impression that you don't want to fight him?
There's never too much money when I lay my life on the line. You know, I don't know what's your value, but
well, I'm not getting hit. I respect that.
I've earned it.
I respect that. I understand that. But
Olympian, four-time world champion, the legend killer. It goes on and on.
Let's go to the other end of the equation then, because you understand it, Antonio. They say that you want too much money because you really don't want to fight him.
There's never enough too much. I've never ducked anyone, Jim.
Okay.
You do my track record, man. I stand by my talents. Will they stand by theirs? I fight and they know that. Come on, man. I beat them all and I'll fight them all.
So it looks as though if Jeff Lacey wins that fight, would that be your next opponent probably in April?
That's a good match. Why wouldn't it be?
Okay.
Jeff Lacey's a big name. I mean, he's only lost one, and maybe we can do some comparisons to the Jeff Lacey-Tarver fight, and you can do the comparison against Calzaghe and Lacey, and then, you know, we'll set up the big showdown after that.
You said something really interesting before the fight to me. You said you thought that your best was yet to come. Did we see a portion of that tonight? I
mean, I think so. You saw combination punches. You saw my defense. I didn't get hit with anything, and we stayed in there when the guy wanted to fight. We fought inside. We worked our way out, and we got back on the jab. I'm back, man. It's never a question of that.
Thank you for your time. Congratulations, Antonio. We'll see you next time.
Campbell, Florida. I'm coming home, baby.
Indeed you are. We'll see you then. All right, back down to you, Steve.
Thank you very much, Jim. Let's check out how the scoring went for Tarver versus Santiago. First, the official judges' scorecards here at Foxwoods. At the time of the stoppage, Glenn Feldman, Mark Streisand, Peter Trematera all saw it the same way, 30-27.
Yeah, and of course that had the fight been continuing with the knockdowns, that next round would have been a 10-7 round for Tarver.
And the panel of press row judges saw it this way. Ron Borges actually gave the first round 10-10. Is that what I'm understanding? Okay, interesting. And then Keith Idek and Jack Obermeyer had it the way the official judges had it at the time of the stoppage. All right.